Spyshack Podcast, the podcast that where super fans come together to talk about the latest episode of Survivor. Want to thank you all for joining us here because we are actually doing something new for the podcast. We are jumping into the Traitors USA. So we're jumping from station to station here. We did Survivor earlier in the season, earlier in the year. We are going to finish off our latest season of the challenge for Challenge 40, and now we're starting the Traitors season 3. And with me, as always, are my fellow traders. Mark, how are you doing today?
It's quite the week for the show, and there's a lot to talk about. So let's get started.
And always with me, Kim. How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm really excited to talk about traders. I love how they managed to get Boston Robin anywhere.
Awesome. All right, I can't do this anymore. It's a little
Yeah,
hot
let's.
for me.
This is
My
not
hair's all
going well.
crazy. It's too hot. Um,
It is way too hot. Okay,
Kim's gonna
so
stay on with it. But yeah,
yeah,
let's go ahead and talk about season 3 of the Traders. This is actually I actually have not seen season 1. I started off with season 2. I need to go back to
okay.
season 1, of course.
Season
But
one was good. It
season
was good if you like a certain person. So let's put it
well,
that way.
let's do this for. I mean, if you haven't watched the show, you probably wouldn't be here. But just in case, let's just talk about what the
Yeah,
show
that's
is,
why not.
right?
Yes.
Um, The Traders is a reality competition TV show that is on Peacock. It is set in the Scottish castle where we will bring in 21, 22, depending on the season, right? 20-ish contestants to go ahead and duke it out in two different groups, the Faithful and the Traders. And the Faithful is the I guess their aim for the season is to banish all the traders that are in the mix, while the traders will work undercover to eliminate the Faithful one by one. Each night, the traders will secretly murder someone, one of the Faithful, and then the game continues until either all the traders are banished, or there's only a handful of Faithful, or there is a trader at the end and they take the cash. So that's
Yep.
one thing that I actually really like, is that if even just one trader makes it to the end, that's it. No one else gets the money. So yeah. So
Yep.
I think it's been like what 3-4 months, maybe even more, that we were shown who the cast was going to be.
Yes.
Now the cast reveal a couple of months ago did kind of not ruin, but kind of spoiled the little twist that they tried to pull on us on episode 1. But let's go ahead and just talk about the players that we were for sure known to appear in the episode, based on how they appeared, or based on appearing on the first part of the episode. I'm just
Yes.
gonna go through them real quick, and
Uh,
no need to go into them too much, unless you guys want. There's something specific you all want to talk about them, and I'm gonna do them
well, I
in
was.
alphabetical. Mhm.
Oh, we're
There's
gonna do an
plenty of
alphabetical. Then you start off because I'm not gonna be able to name
Yeah, yeah.
all of them.
yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna go.
There's plenty of analysis, cast analysis out there. So we're
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not gonna do that.
Yeah. No, like I said, if there is something specific though, if there's something, at least one or two things you want to talk about, go ahead and do it. But let's just go
Hmm.
through them real quick. We got Bob H,
Yes.
who is the fitness expert from The Biggest Loser, and the host, right?
Hmm.
I never actually
And the
watched
host.
Biggest Loser. Yeah. Bob the drag
I
queen,
did. Liked
winner
it.
of the
Yep.
I
RuPaul's.
watched. Yep.
You watched
Hmm.
that one? Season 8. Almost right off the bat, one of my favorites. Brittany, from Big Brother, seasons 12 and 14.
Love her.
Carolyn
Mm.
Wigger, memorable
Also, reindeer
contestant.
games.
Who?
Wasn't
Brittany,
Brittany
but I
in
mean
reindeer
they have
Oh,
games?
bumped it in with Big Brother. Yeah. So
okay, okay. Carolyn Wigger, from Survivor season 44. One of, I think, our favorites from that season. Um, some of these you're gonna have to help me all, guys, because like I said, I'm really bad at pronouncing names.
yes.
Chanel Ayan,
Chanel Ayan.
from the Real Housewives of Dubai, Chriselle
Hmm.
Strauss from Selling Sunset on Netflix, Ciara Miller from Summer House. I think she's the only one that I really don't know anything about. Danielle
I don't know her
Reyes,
either.
Danielle
Yep.
Reyes, player from Big Brother from seasons 3 and 7. Dolores, cast member of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Dorinda, former cast member of the Real Housewives of New York City. Dylan Efron, brother of Zach Efron, and I guess his co-host on that show. I forgot what it's called. I should have looked that one
Down
up.
to earth.
Down to Earth.
Yep.
Gabby
Oh, is
Wendy,
that who that is?
yeah.
Hmm.
Gabby Wendy, co-star of The Bachelorette season 19. Jeremy, winner of Survivor Cambodia, one of my favorites. That's actually the first season that Mark and I did as a
Covered. Yeah.
podcast. Yep. Lord Ivar Mountbatten, British aristocrat and a member, I guess, extended member of the royal family. Nikki Garcia, professional wrestler, Nick, and known as Nikki Bella as well. Robin Dixon, Real Housewives of Potomac. Hope I said that right. Sam Agashi. I don't know who this guy is. Oh, this guy's the one that's married to Britney Spears for a bit.
Britney Spears. Yeah.
Tom Sandoval. He, I guess, one of the most hated people from Vanderpump Rules, I think. Tony Vlachos, two-time winner of Survivor, and Wells Adams, the bartender from Bachelor in Paradise. Um,
Yes.
of the ones that I've talked about, was there any specific player that you all were really excited to talk about or excited to see in this season?
We were excited to
Danielle
see
Reyes.
Danielle and Brittany just because of the drama that
Mhm.
came from Reindeer Games a couple of years ago. It was very dramatic, and the aftermath went on for the year or so that they haven't seen each other or talked to each other. And so for the two of them to end up in the castle together to, I guess, sort of mend that fence, um, it was it was a big deal for everybody that knew the show.
You see, I
So
didn't know that they didn't play Big Brother together. I didn't know I don't know what this game. What is Reindeer Games?
okay, Reindeer Games is when they brought in all it was an all-star game. It was a very short season,
Hmm.
and it was basically the Big Brother the challenge is basically what it was, where you do a challenge, you do a comp, and if you win, you get immunity, and then two of the other house guests will be nominated for elimination for eviction. And what they do is the two nominated house guests will compete against each other in an elimination um in an elimination challenge, and whoever loses goes home. In this one challenge, it's basically a chain of safety where they're given them an amount of time to complete a challenge, and the next person will get slightly less time, and then the next one slightly less time, and whoever fails will go directly home. And Brittany was down the chain, like a few people down the chain, and so she basically had to decide the next person that's gonna go after her, and she completed the challenge, and she's like, "This is easy, Danielle. You can do this." And so she nominated Danielle for the challenge, and Danielle couldn't do it, and Danielle was out.
Gotcha. Okay. Um,
That's a short. That's a
I
short
thought they
version.
had played together. So this is just mainly like a spin-off of Big Brother.
It's a spinoff, yes,
Okay,
but
cool, cool.
it was good. It was a good season.
Um, I was excited to see all the Survivor players. I'm always excited to see your Survivor players do something else,
Absolutely.
and I'm excited that CBS has actually started to allow them to spread out from just the CBS shows, the Paramount shows.
I know,
'Cause-
and especially for the newer players as well, which is kind of surprising.
Well,
But I guess that's good publicity for the shows as well.
well, that's
To
the thing. It's
be.
like, yeah, uh,
Mhm.
I feel like for like the first almost 40 seasons, well, maybe 35 seasons, they were like locked down on contract. You cannot appear on any other network,
Yep.
no matter what. Even for
Hmm.
like I think for the next 10 years or something, or 5 years, something like that. It was something like
Something.
yeah,
It was
and
long.
mhm. and I think they finally figured it out that by allowing them to appear on other networks and on other shows, it actually is publicity for yourself because now if you're of the Survivor players get along with the people from the other shows, you're going to bring back some of those people over here.
Hmm.
So yeah, Cam,
Yeah.
anyone else that you were excited to see before?
Just the Survivor people and Danielle and Brittany. I didn't know. I knew of a lot of these people, but didn't know who they were. I don't watch any of the Housewives. Um, don't watch Down to Earth. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it and it said Down to Earth, I thought the show was joking around, and they were like calling him Down to Earth because I don't know who he is. So I
Hmm.
didn't even put together Efron if they put his last name. I mean, I watched 3 episodes and I had no idea who I mean, because when you think they have not so famous reality show people on the show sometimes, I just thought he was one of those who weren't so famous.
I mean, it was a documentary series, so it wasn't really a
Mhm.
reality show per se. But that's
Oh,
how he came to light. Um, and I didn't even know about the show that it aired for 2 seasons apparently. So and I didn't
Oh
even know
well,
about
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
yeah, I
I
didn't
knew
know
And
about
about
it,
it
but I never
either.
watched it.
Same.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So went right off the bat because, like I said, a couple of months ago, we saw the reveal of the cast, and we saw Boston Rob in there. But then
Hmm.
we don't see Boston Rob in the limos or the cars that's bringing them in. So I'm like, okay, what's going
Hmm.
on? There's no way they're gonna wait till like season like episode 4 or 5 to bring them in like they did with what's her name from last season.
Kate
And
Chastain.
then as soon
Oh,
as
she's good TV.
as soon as the people that the followers um started moving, there was one left, and I go, oh, there's Boston Rob. There's no way they're gonna keep him hidden for too long. But like I said, this would have been a great reveal if they would not have put Boston Rob in the promotional stuff. But I feel like it would have been they would have been shooting themselves in the foot if they did not. Um,
Right.
I think out of all of these people, I think he's the one that is the biggest name. I
Biggest
know.
selling point is probably Boston Rob, yes.
Yeah,
And
'cause, I mean,
Tony.
he's appeared and he's
I
appeared.
would
Well, I
agree.
mean, Boston Rob's appeared in so many different TV shows. He's appeared on the
Hmm.
History Channel. He's appeared on CBS and NBC. So I mean,
NBC.
there's a lot of different shows that
He
he's
was
appeared
just
on.
on Deal or No Deal Island, like
Hmm.
literally
Yeah, just last
just
year.
on it. He hosts the show.
He
He
hosts the
talks
after
to
show
the
this season as
eliminated,
well.
yeah, the
Oh,
after
really?
show of
Okay,
Deal or
cool.
Hmm.
No Deal Island.
So, I mean, he's the best known. Now, this whole thing of not allowing him to come in because that was the whole thing, right? You all are allowed to let him into the game, but then you're gonna have to sacrifice one of your own. I knew no
Yeah.
one was going to allow him in, but I also
Yeah,
knew
it's too
there's no
risky.
way. Yeah, well, I go, there's no way they're gonna let him go home this fast.
No, they
Yeah,
can't.
Uh,
They
production's
can't.
not letting him leave, but I was absolutely shocked by the other reveal and gutted as someone when we get to the other people who are now on the show. um, Mark and I might share maybe some of the same opinion about one of the people who made it onto the show that I had no clue.
you didn't. Oh, he was one of the people that you didn't know that it was actually gonna appear.
No, we
Oh,
didn't
no,
know.
100%.
Like
No, I'm
I was
telling
like,
you,
he just
my
got done with the
jaw.
season. Like,
No, that's him, but not just him. Derek.
oh, the other one.
I was floored by Derek too. Guess
Hmm.
Wes, because Wes just got out of House of Villains, so I'm. That's the only reason I knew who he was. But with
Oh,
Derek, I don't
well,
like Derek.
wait till the first
Mhm.
episode that we talk about here, and we'll get to them because I want to ask you all
Yeah.
about what y'all think about West. Because think about that, okay?
Hmm. Yep.
Um, all right, so yeah, Rob gets banished, apparently not to come back, and
He's
he's worked on
exiled,
yeah,
as
well,
that's
he's
the term
worked
we use.
on his acting because I knew they were not gonna let him go home. But he looked
Yeah, yeah.
he at least made it look like he was upset that he was going home. He kind of did the
Hmm.
whole Johnny Bananas thing where he's like upset, frustrated that he's not even getting a chance to play. And
Hmm.
this would have been good for Johnny Bananas for him to actually um get a chance to do this, something like this. But oh well. Um first, let's talk about the first challenge here, because the way it works, like we said at the beginning, the challenges will help these cast members collect money that they can use to keep building up the pot towards the end of the season. Uh,
Yes.
I really like this episode and this challenge, and I like the concept that only if you continue to sacrifice yourselves are you allowing to keep putting money in, but then at the same time you're not going to be protected at that time when it comes to the to be murdered. And I surprisingly, I the very first station when Dorinda and who was it, Robin, was it Robin,
Yes.
Dolores, one of them too, they decide to step off, and they're like, why would you do that? You guys were way too um easy
Influenced.
to,
Yeah.
well, I don't even think they were influenced. I think they were just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm pretty sure they didn't want to continue rowing, but
Yeah. That's there's that as well.
yeah. Well, the thing is that then later on they find out, they were like, oh, maybe we should have done this. Big
Not a
blunder.
good idea.
Um,
I wouldn't have jumped off.
well, let's talk about this in this first challenge. Any first impressions of the people you all didn't know about?
Um, like I
No,
was interested to see how Bob Harper would do in a competition show like this, just because he's never been a player in a reality show. He's always been the coach, and so it was interesting to
motivation.
see, yeah, what his motivation was, and how he would traverse in a game like this. And so I was kind of surprised that he jumped off as well. I don't- it looked like the whole boat wanted to just keep the strong guys in so they can row, and then just chuck off all the women, which was sort of slightly sexist. But I mean,
It is, but I get it. Oh, however, there are some women that are way stronger than some of the men.
yeah,
Like, well, someone pointed at, like, Nikki Garcia, Nikki Bella.
hmm
They're actually pretty fit and strong
yes,
for the size that they are, because they
hmm
train constantly to be able to wrestle. So
yes,
yeah, she is pretty strong, and she was never one of the people that they even looked at to
hmm
get off. But I would say that if you felt like you weren't going to be contributing and maybe possibly not being able to even make it, if you're still on there, might as well just sacrifice yourself at that point. Don't make it too easy like they did in the fur couple, but maybe just give yourself up towards the end, I guess. Give
hmm
yourself enough money, and if you're not fighting and stuff like that, you should be fine, I think. I get the guys not wanting to get off, because especially the targets, like the survivor guys. I'm
hmm
pretty sure people were already gunning for them even before we heard them talk about it.
true.
At the end of the day, they do not go back. They do not go for the last 20,000. So they only bank 20,000 of the 40.
And
Um,
they had 20 minutes left on the clock, more than 20 minutes left on the clock. I was
I feel
like,
like
what
Alan
is
was
going
pissed.
on?
Alan was pissed
Yeah,
that they didn't go for it. It makes no sense. Well, also because it makes going for those 20 would also add two more people that would be available to
Yeah,
what's it
there
called?
wasn't many
to
because two of
murder.
the people
There
who
was only four
jumped
people.
off were you couldn't even murder. So
But
Yeah,
at that time, were they
they
already
didn't know.
selected? They were selected. They
They were
were already
selected.
yes,
selected. Yeah. But they didn't know each
So
other. They didn't know Bob and Danielle were. They didn't know.
so
no,
let's mention the traitors. It's Danielle Reyes. It is Bob the Drag Queen, and it is Carolyn Weegar,
Hmm.
right? So when Danielle and Bob jumped up at the same time, I thought that was super funny.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
when they met up later at the turret, and they were like, "Holy shoot! Like you are a good actor."
I thought she was doing really well at acting, but I'll I'll talk about
up
that later
until
on. Yeah. Um, and I really like that Carolyn decided not to sacrifice herself, especially, and like, remember we talked about it before the season started. We were hoping that she lasted a while, and I said she
Yeah,
either is going to go quick or she's going to last a while because they're not going to be able to read her because she's too out there. And I feel like
yeah.
that is working in her favor.
And here's the thing: jumping off onto the rafts mean like they did this challenge in the UK as well. Like the moment you jump off onto the rafts, people are gonna be suspicious that you're a traitor and that you don't really care about having a shield because you're not gonna you can't be murdered. And so that's where the suspicious jumps in. And so I don't know how this is gonna if there's gonna be any repercussions from this challenge like later on in the season, but we should keep an eye on this list of people.
And at the end of the day, it was what let me go back here to my list. The people who jumped off, if I put them right correctly, it was pretty much all four of the
Housewives.
housewives, right? All four of the housewives, Bob the drag queen and Carolyn. I mean Danielle.
And Danielle.
And those were the only ones. Oh no, Bob H jumped off too, right?
Yeah.
Bob H.
Yes.
And who was he with? Who did he jump off with?
Bob H was with Ion, right?
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, so at that point, so there's 8 people total. No, 6 people
Mhm.
total. There are 6 people total who jumped off, with 2 of them being protected. And I'm like, oh, they kind of. I feel like they kind of missed the boat here with how they chose this to work, because now only 4 are available for killing off.
Right.
And I don't mind it. I mean, I don't know who these women were. All I said was, I don't know who the Real Housewives are, but based on last season, they messed up the games of the people that I like. So I really don't care if they if they stay or not. I mean, I feel like Sandra could have won if it wasn't for one of those housewives.
True. Very true.
So yeah, at the end of the day, they do finish, but only with $20,000 and added to the pot. And Alan gets mad at them because they had plenty of time to go ahead and get the last station. I do like Jeremy though. Was it Jeremy or Tony who said it goes, "Why are we fighting on this? Is anyone going to volunteer? If not, then there's no reason to keep fighting and let's just go."
Yeah, true.
Yep. Um, First people who were, I guess, identified as possible traitors. Who was it? Wells was it Wells or was it Tony? Tony was the first. I mean, not Tony. Sandoval, right?
Sandoval has a little bit of heat on him. Tony just has heat on him from jump, just because
yeah.
of his history. And he can't really shake that off. And it's too bad he wasn't made a traitor. Yeah.
I think it would have been way too obvious though if he would have been one of the what's it called?
One of the traitors.
Traitors?
But it was
Yeah,
the
I think
only way
so.
for him to be absolutely safe. It was
That's
the
true.
only way.
That's
Mhm.
true. I mean, I think they would have banished them though. So I think he was one of the people that they would have easily banished if they did not
He would
feel
have had a
comfortable
shot.
with.
He would have had a
Yeah.
shot to defend himself. And as a faithful, like when people get onto you, like there's no way to, like, he's playing from behind, basically.
Yeah.
This is Cambodia all over again.
Well, let me ask you all, what would you all have done? Would you all have been trying to point the finger at someone, or would you all have been just sitting back and letting people talk to you?
See, that didn't work out too well for Dan last season, so I wouldn't be super quiet. You need to be able to throw some shots to other people, just so people are not like, "Why are you so quiet? Why aren't you throwing out any names?" and things like that. You gotta throw out a legit suspicion.
Yeah,
Whether
definitely.
it be something they did in a mission or like something they said, or you gotta be able to pinpoint something on
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly. And I think like Sandoval, and even Wells, for a moment he was being quiet. Sandoval was being
Mhm.
very upfront with who he wanted to go against, and he was going against Chriselle, who I know because my
Yeah.
wife watches Selling Sunset, and
Yeah, and she don't
not
like Tom because of Ariana.
well. The thing is,
There's history there. Yeah.
apparently he
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
I
that
think she's-
apparently he didn't know that she knew him though, knew her, because she said that as
Yeah.
soon as I told you is when you started to like throw me under the bus. So I wouldn't even told her anything. Why
don't know
bring something up
why.
like that?
I don't know why Tom just doesn't say, "Hey, you know what? Isn't there a saying, you lose them how you get them, and end it?" because I get so tired of the poor Ariana story. I didn't watch this show ever, okay, but I do know that how Ariana met Tom was when Tom had a girlfriend, and Ariana didn't have a problem with it then. So, oh well. I literally have zero sympathy for Ariana. I'm not a big Tom fan, but I don't dislike him because he
Yeah,
cheated on Ariana.
I don't.
Tom's not a saint, so
Yeah, I was gonna say. I didn't know him either. I just knew him from like when I was driving to work. I'm listening to the morning shows, and one of the segments is like talking about Vanderpump Rules and stuff like that. And they talked about him, and I got tired of hearing about him.
Get this: if he didn't cheat on Ariana, you and I would have no idea who he
wouldn't
was.
Be here. He wouldn't be here.
Okay.
So I feel like he went after Chriselle because he felt like maybe Chriselle was going to go after him at one point.
Yes.
But at the same time, when it's out there that you possibly know, because you know she's going to have to end up saying something, right? You cannot be the one that is pointing the finger at her, because now it's going to be like you're only going after her because maybe she might go after you. And if you're going to go after someone like that, you kind of need to suggest to someone else and have someone else bring it up. I feel like that's how Ethan and Lex worked in Survivor. They worked together, but it was always Lex that kind of called the shot at the end of the day, and Ethan just kind of stayed there with his hands clean, and that helped him win the season. Yeah. So, but we, like I said, we did have two different contrasting techniques. Wells was kind of just laying back and watching, and then we had Tom, who was just mean mugging everybody, and that's kind of why I didn't like him. I feel like he was overplaying the game. I get that he's playing. I'm pretty sure he's also playing a part for a character and all that, but I think he was just going too hard on, especially with Chriselle and all that. The one person that I didn't really like from the beginning was Gabby, and I'm not sure why. She felt really I don't know, immature. I'm not sure what she gave me some vibes, but I don't know why I'm not really liking her. At least in the game. In the game.
Okay.
I like her posse. I like Nikki and I like Chriselle.
I'm sorry. You said something that sounded like something.
That wasn't on purpose.
Don't.
Yeah, no, that wasn't on
Moving
purpose. So yeah. Anything else we want to bring up before we go into the
round table?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
well, no, it would be the first thing would be the murder, right?
Oh yeah, it was murder first. Yep.
At the end of the day, most of the people ended up with their shields. Only 4 people who are eligible to be murdered are 3 of the housewives and Bob H. Into the turret we go, and we reveal the traitors reveal themselves to each other. I feel like there's way too much overplaying on how they want to do this. In the first 2 murders that they did, I feel like there was way too much discussion, and they want to cause too much chaos. And I feel like, and we'll go talk about the second one here shortly, but I feel like there was a mistake going after Deandra. How do you say her name? Deandra. I think she could have been used as a pawn later on, or to pawn it on her that maybe it was her, because maybe she did kill the person that got in a fight with her. I think Ivar would have been the first person to go, and I think that would have been the perfect way to cast her as the possible suspect.
Dolores, is that the one you want to?
No. The first person who ended up getting murdered,
Dorinda.
Dorinda. I was saying Deandra. Yeah. Dorinda. Yeah. I mean, I get why she blew up. I get it, but
she had stuff on her, which is also why I don't understand why they kill off Dorinda, which is
that's
weird.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I get why she went off. I do. It was
Hmm.
her mistake though that she did do that, because they could have easily used that against her, to throw
Exactly.
suspicion on her. But
Hmm.
because of that, they just ended up killing her off. Bob, I think, was threatened by her. He said that
Maybe.
she was too smart to be there, which I don't know. I don't know her personally, but I feel like she could have been an easy red herring for them to use and to cast as possible traitor.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. I would have thrown Ivar, but
Hmm.
we're neither here nor there. That's it. She was the first one to go.
I mean, if you
Um,
had to choose the housewife, you choose the one that is not causing the problem that you're sure is a faithful, which would probably put that target on probably Chanel or I would say Ciara
real
because they
quick,
got the least amount of
if you are in the live
if you're
chat
if
or in the room, go ahead and let us know what you all think about the first episode. We're gonna be jumping into the second episode here shortly.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I would have been good to just go with anybody
Yeah,
else but
exactly.
Dorinda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think a Dolores, was it Dolores or Robin? I think it was Robin that was one that was available to get murdered. I think Robin would have been the easier one
Hmm.
to actually go after, especially after
Yes.
she took shots at people at the round table later on. But
Yes.
yeah. Um, was there anything that you wanted to bring up about the breakfast, the reveal?
Breakfast wasn't too exciting. It wasn't nothing really new came out of the breakfast,
Mhm.
so
I
we
think
just move on to the
I
mission.
think at this point though, I think Danielle was still doing good at this point, interacting.
Yes. Hmm.
Um, yeah. So game number two, at the end of episode one, we come back, and give me 1 second here. Kim got booted and she's trying to come back.
Yeah.
If you're able to hear us, Kim, I think you're gonna have to refresh everything and go back in, because you are showing that your camera and mic are unable to connect.
Hmm.
Um, at the end of episode one, we get a view of Alan with another hooded
Hooded
figure, which
figure.
we knew right away who it was. I mean, we knew who he was banished. So we bring in Boston Raw back in. He gets the news that he's gonna be allowed to play as a traitor. At
Yes.
this point, we get two more reveals. We get Wes and we get Derek, right? Isn't name?
Derek Levasseur. Yes.
Um, let me ask you first, because of these two, the only one that I know is Wes. What was
Hmm.
your perception of Wes in, I guess, House of Villains?
Uh, he was a schemer. He even brought in a fake hidden immunity idol
Oh god,
to trick the other contestants. That's how far he went to try to win that game. And he is a diehard Survivor fan. Diehard.
he wants to be on Survivor so bad.
So bad that he brought his own hidden immunity idol to House of Villains. That's how bad he wants in.
Here,
Jeff put
here,
him in.
here's the thing: is that he wants so bad to get in that he actually antagonizes Survivor players and the season as it's going on. He will like just
Wow.
go out and say like, you guys are challenges that suck. You guys are good. There's nothing like the challenges, which
Oh,
the
wow.
challenges are a little bit harder, but you got to
Hmm.
remember, and people do call him out on this. You got to remember, you're eating on the challenge and drinking. And if you're unable to eat and be nourished in the challenge, you're not gonna make it out on the beach of Survivor. If you're out there, let's see how long you last. And they do tell them that.
Exactly.
People fans do tell them that. Let me message Kim real quick here.
Yeah, so it is. We kind of knew Rob was coming in, and we were pleasantly shocked to see Wes and Derek up
Can you
on
hear
the
me?
cages as well. I I can see why they picked Wes, but
Yes.
bringing in Derek was was a kind of a big left field choice for me.
So
How do you feel
what
about
season is
that?
Derek from?
16.
Do you hear me?
He
Yes.
won. It was the season that Cody
The
handed
worst
him the win
season.
on.
It was the season after the races season. So the
There were two
following
of them.
season,
Which one?
right? Okay, well, I didn't watch for a few years. So Big Brother 15
I
was
know.
super racist. So then
Mhm.
16 comes in and they cast as many boring people as you can put in a house that you could imagine. Then they
Yeah.
threw in this twist that let Derek, this cop, run a house of stupid people. And then at the end, Cody, instead of taking the easy win, which was Victoria, that was taken by a crow when she was a baby, he took Derek.
Wait, what?
It was just so dumb. If you any Big Brother fan will know Victoria and her crow story. It's one of the best stories on feeds. Mark, do you remember
What are you talking about now?
Victoria and the crow?
Oh yeah,
When
yeah. That was
when Victoria said that she was a baby and that a crow came down and lifted her up and
yeah.
tried to steal it.
Is she being serious about this? As that she
Yes.
believes this?
She
Yes.
yeah.
Dead
Yeah.
ass.
That's
She
funny.
is dead ass serious. It is hilarious. Nobody believes her. They're like,
Well,
maybe a vulture, but she.
Mhm.
You have
So-
to
maybe it was the crow from the movie Crow.
So that season was basically Tony and Wu in the Big Brother
Mm.
season
Mhm.
with Derek and Cody. And
Yes.
so that's kind of how the season ended. And Cody was just sort of was basically taking shots from that, like, ever since. Like, why'd you take Derek to the end? Why'd you hand him the money? Blah blah blah. And
Brothers and
he took
boys
that to heart
for
for years, and then
Wu still
22
hears that.
happened. Let's not talk about 22.
Well, I go. Wu still hears it as far as why he took Tony to the end, because he took the winner. He would have won,
Mhm.
I think, against Cassandra, Chaos Cast.
Exactly. That's yeah.
I
Same
mean,
with
we've seen it a
same
couple
with Cody.
times. Yeah, we've seen it a
Same
couple
with Cody.
times.
Anybody
Cody-
would have won with Victoria. Anybody.
Yeah.
It wasn't even.
Anybody.
It wasn't even like, she did something.
Let me.
I
I
remember
could have
two
I could have
things.
stepped into that house and won against Victoria.
Yes, 100%. I remember two things about Victoria: the crow story and her reaction when Frankie said Ariana was his sister. Right, like, because he was.
Oh,
in
that's
the
the
house.
season. Okay.
She had
I know that.
the
Yeah,
most
that's the season.
physical reaction to it, because I didn't really know who Ariana Grande was back then, right? And she definitely did. And I remembered her face, and I'm like, why is she making a big deal about this Ariana Grande girl?
That's when she was licking donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kim, you had got kicked out when I asked Mark about your reaction to Wes, and
Oh.
what is your I guess reaction
I
from
won't
House of
lie.
Villains?
Now, I'm excited to see him play. He's definitely a villain. So, man, he's sneaky, manipulative. He has a huge ego, like massive. I saw a post of his. This was he lost House of Villains. Sorry, spoiler alert. It's been over. So he came in second, I think. He lost his Safari.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mhm.
he was not pleased. And one of the reasons he lost was because of a Big Brother player named Jesse, who played on 11, I think. So he wrote like he's one of the best reality players of all time. He wrote this. So good. I'm glad he thinks it, because I'm going to watch him play. He's entertaining, and I'm here for it.
So-
I don't here for boring. I hope Derek leaves before him.
So Wes is definitely going to cause a stir. Now,
Yes.
I only know him from the challenge. I hate him. from the challenge.
He's a rat.
With that being said,
let's just put it simply.
With that being said,
I don't watch who he is. I don't know who he is.
He's just very obnoxious. He's very outspoken. I told Mark that he really wants to be on Survivor so bad. He talks about the seasons as they're going on, and he really just talks about how easy the challenges look for him.
Why can't they put him on? Oh, please!
It's probably because he keeps antagonizing them.
Shut up.
I think if he didn't antagonize them,
that it wasn't. That it's hard. They should put him on a season where it's hard. Like really.
But now, here's the thing now. I kind of like them in this episodes.
Yeah,
I kind of did like them.
House of Villains. I liked him in House of. Even though like that note was gonna F over players I liked, I respected that move so much. The fact that he was able to pull it off and they believed him. I'm like, huh? How does anyone believe this? I was floored that anyone believed him, but they did. He wasn't nominated because of that lie.
Well, like I said, I'm surprised. Well, I'm surprised that I actually liked him as much as I did in these episodes. Because like I said, I have this what is it called? A notion of him and how he is and so forth. And I actually turned my wife and I go, if this guy would just shut up, I think people would like him. I think people would like him. He is very well known in the challenge circle, to the point where my sister-in-law, who watches the challenge, she only reason why she watched the first season or the second season of Traitors is because of the people from the challenge. And she did not know. She thought that there was no challenge players coming in for this season. So she's like, I'm probably not going to watch. And I go, well, I hear that Wes is probably coming in at some point or another. I didn't know it was going to be this fast. But
you had said bananas. You saw
bananas. Oh, no. I was hoping he would come back. He would come back in that role as what's her name did from last year. But I did hear that Wes was going to come in at one point or another. I just didn't think it was going to be this fast.
That. So I'm super excited to see him play again, only because he was really good and he's a villain. Like, as Big Brother fans, if you watch Big Brother, if you're OG, you know Jesse, and you remember him being like a villain. But if you watch House of Villains, you're like, he's not a villain at all. He's like this dad who loves his kids, and he had this empathy. And I'm like, wow, he's grown so much since watching him on Big Brother, and his season is one of my favorites.
I'm going to take this discussion and turn a little bit sideways here.
Mm-hmm.
Josh was in the House of Villains as well, right?
No, he was in the GOAT.
What's the GOAT?
Oh no, he was in Reindeer Games.
Oh, Reindeer Games. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this: what is his perception as in Big Brother?
He was.
Is he a bad guy or is he obnoxious? What is?
He's obnoxious. Absolutely obnoxious. He did the evil dick pots and pans thing. That's kind of what he became known for, the winner with the pots and pans. So yeah. Obnoxious.
I don't see it in the challenge.
Really?
I feel like he's very soft. He can't win things. Yeah. He can't win things. And my co-host, my co-host says he likes Josh just because of the Big Brother. But he says
Josh shouldn't have won Big Brother.
Josh is actually, he plays up to the perception that he's a bad boy or a villain or something like that. But he goes, and at the end of the day, he's actually a big softy who gets
he
gets like his feelings hurt.
If you watch Big Brother, you see that he's not a villain. He's a big softy, someone who's very sensitive. Easily influenced, at least back then.
No, he still is. Yeah,
he was a baby when he played.
I don't want to.
I liked him on Big Brother.
I don't want to take up too much time on that, but I just wanted to say that real quick. But let's see. Episode 2, we have the cages The all the players come and look at the cages. Are kind of, I know that they are told to overreact to things, right? But they come in, they're all, ooh, oh my god, this is scary. Uh,
What could
yeah.
this be?
I always crack up at how they tell them to overreact. But they get the reveal. Derek, Wes, and Rob are all three joining the game. The way you get on their good side is you release them from their cages by providing these coins that also add up to the total of your bank, and whoever comes down all the way through will have a chance to give their shield to someone that whoever they want. And of course, people are
Yes.
going to be like, if you help me down, I'm going to give you a shield, right? Uh,
Mhm.
was not surprised that Rob was the first one down. Was not surprised that Wes took a while to come down.
Mhm.
I was surprised that they actually got all three of them down though. I thought for sure Wes was going to end up staying one peg up from the from being really. And I'm
I
sure that
mean,
they played up the whole. We almost didn't make it. I'm pretty sure it was that
Sure
close.
yeah,
did.
yeah, there's that as well. I mean, all three of the players are coming in, so like, why hold the shield from them,
Yeah.
right?
I also think
Hmm.
that some of them definitely did not know Wes.
No, they didn't.
Because they
Some people didn't know
definitely
Rob.
did. Um yeah, and then they definitely didn't know Derek. But Derek's been on, I hear, a lot of different stuff. I'm not a Derek fan. He actually had me blocked on Twitter. Um,
Whatever.
A lot of people had you blocked, Kim.
No, no, he hosts a detective show on like True TV or something. Like
Oh, he's a cop,
yeah,
right?
except yes.
he used to be
Um,
undercover cop.
I don't think he's a bad person. I mean,
Hmm.
I just, it was such a boring season. He didn't allow any fun. He ran that house, right? Like a dad. Like lights out by like 10. Like it was just the most boring feat. So I'm a
So
little
I don't think
bitter
this is a house
towards
he can
Derek.
control, which
No,
is
no.
which
it's
is good news.
definitely
I want to
not.
see how he plays from behind, and
Well, let
Yes,
me
I'm
bring
know,
it. So
excited.
it sounds like people have perception of him the same way they have of Rob when he won the season, with the
hmm
perception being that Rob was put in a game with people who were easily manipulated.
yes,
I want to counter this because no matter what show Rob appears in, the people around him seem to be attracted to his
Whatever.
charisma.
And I mean, he literally made it all the way to the end of Dealer No Kill Island, and
He
nobody could say they didn't know who he was. That
he.
he didn't win things.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
come
check it out.
on.
He made it to the Amazing Race.
Yep.
People knowing who he was, they were trying to get him out. And this is just a random thing. There was an episode where the challenge was eating forgot how many pounds of meat. And if you know Rob, he is not good with these eating challenges. He can't eat a lot of food. He started eating and he knew right away he was not going to make it. But dropping out then, I don't know if it is right now, but dropping out then was like a 4-hour penalty. You had to wait. What happened? The next people that came in and started eating, he convinced them that they couldn't do it, and they sat out. And he was able to continue going because the
That's
person
how good
after
he
him
is.
was going to have 4 hours as well. So for sure, there's at least one team that was going to be behind him.
He's also
hmm
charismatic. There's
That's
so
the
much
thing.
about him.
that is,
So
It's
yeah.
just
so
he
really,
is. You want to
really,
allow him. You want to be his friend.
well, even
That's what it is.
even in the episode we saw right now, the Traitors, people were flocking to him.
Yes.
Enter Dylan, the surprising Survivor super fan. Like this is an Efron we're talking about, and he's talking
Yeah,
about how much he loves these Survivor players, and he just wants to like work with all of them, and
yeah,
especially Rob.
yeah,
And I was just kind of gobsmacked, like, whoa, I didn't know you're a reality person.
yeah. No, no, I really like Dylan. Um,
Yeah.
go. So all three of them come down. We have Rob who gives his shield to Tony. We have Wes who gives his shield um, to Jeremy, surprisingly,
Yes.
Mhm.
and we have Derek who gives his shield to who did he give it to?
Uh,
I feel like
Derek
oh,
Gibbons is the villain, right?
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Which
But
actually I don't see as
question.
bad. Mhm.
Why are you surprised by Wes giving it to Jeremy, being that Wes is such a Survivor superfan?
Because I guess he doesn't. He wasn't there long enough to know if maybe Jeremiah might be a traitor or not. But um, I guess that was his way to suck up to him. I
Hey,
guess
get
I
me on
guess
the
you're right.
show.
I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. You are definitely correct. Um, I do like that they were protected this first round
Same.
of banishments. Of course, they didn't get a vote, and they were able to take a look and listen. First round of banishments. I did not expect Wells to be the first one out.
Neither did I.
I really like
Big
Wells
shocker.
because I I've only watched like maybe 2 seasons, 3 seasons of the Bachelorette, The Bachelor. Um, I watched a couple seasons, and then the season with Pilot Pete came out, and my wife and I both quit the show.
I don't even know
Um,
who Pilot Pete is.
he was there. He was in the last season.
Oh, I
Because
don't know
in
who that is.
Traitors 2, and he had a very colored
Oh,
cast on
then
Bachelor.
I do know who Pilot
I
Pete
didn't.
is.
I didn't like him.
One,
He's the one
two.
that. He's the one that threw all our favorite players under the bus. He's one of them.
That's right.
He was really good at the game.
He was good.
He was super
a good
boring
gamer.
as a bachelor.
Hmm.
He was super boring. They should not have chosen him. And honestly, like my I only watched the Bachelor Bachelorette because of my wife. We rage quit because of that season.
Yeah, but he really proved
Yeah,
himself on Traitors. He really
yeah,
proved himself on Traitors.
yeah. He
So
was a
I'm
lot more
happy
charismatic
for
on the
him.
Traitors.
Hmm.
um, but
Absolutely.
yeah. But like I said, I liked Wells. I didn't think he was gonna be even targeted because he was. I thought he was just chilling back and being friendly with everybody. But that took. Well, of course, Bob is the one that brought it up. Right? He is a
Yeah.
traitor, so he had to bring someone up. Um,
But wasn't Wells on to Bob? The
yes.
drag
No,
queens?
Dylan. Dylan is the one on to
Dylan.
Bob. Dylan's on to Bob and Danielle.
Because
And
Danielle kept on talking at breakfast. I'm thinking, shut up. I'm like, why are
Dancing
you
too
talking
much.
so much?
but I think at this point, after the first night, after the first murder, I think Danielle is still doing okay. It's after this next one is where she
Yeah.
just couldn't shut up. But
Yeah.
anyways, Bob is the first one to put his name down or say his name. He's correct though. He didn't say it's Wells. He says people are talking about Wells, and I want to know why or something like that. Something. I agree. He actually kind of defended himself really well by the way he explained why he brought up Wells.
Yeah, but he ended up with voting for Ivor.
That was the what
That
my
was
wife and I were like. Why did he do that? That's not to
why.
me. That would have been
That would have been a clue, kind
that
of.
clue that he's just doing whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big plurality vote. It was. Let me check. Two,
There
one, two,
was
four, six.
another
8 people.
wasted vote.
8 people got votes at this round table. 8
So it
people.
was Wells, Robin.
Tom.
Who else got
Wells,
votes?
Robin,
And
Ivor, Dolores got a vote.
But
Tom
at the
Ian
end,
got a vote.
it was a tie at the end of 3 people coming to the last vote.
Yes.
Ivor was one of them, wasn't it?
Ivor,
Or was it
Tom
Bob?
get a vote?
Ivor,
I don't remember who got
Wells,
the.
and Robin.
Yeah, and the final vote came in, and they took out Wells. I kind of wanted to see him more, but I get it. He did talk about not being able to, because in the Bachelor in Bachelor of Paradise, he's there more to listen. He does talk to the people, but he's more to listen to them and talk to them. He did not. It kind of gave him. I think it kind of gave him a whole like 180 as far as what to do, because now he's having to talk to not only just people, but he's having to talk to these people who are known for being deceptive, for being outlandish and that, and trying to figure out who. So maybe that was the thing that might have thrown him for a loop. He did. I do know that he did not. Neither people who have left have talked bad about the show.
Right.
So yeah. Um, second murder time. At this point, we Bob, Danielle, and Carolyn join again when we hear the knock for the fourth traitor. Boston Rob joins them, and I don't think Carolyn was happy to see Boston Rob there, as
No,
her
absolutely
face kind
not.
of like did that what is it, the stank face.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's
she
Her face
that's
was
also
doesn't
just a
really
ugly.
regular
hide.
face.
She doesn't
No.
hide her emotions too well either. Like Danielle and Bob, the drag queen, faked it. Do you understand what I mean?
Hmm.
But Caroline didn't really fake it too much. And if she doesn't continue, if she continues this path, Bob is just gonna get rid of her.
He was well. We'll talk about it here, but he was close to at least putting her up um, for contention.
That's right.
But
Get her, burying her alive. That's right. We see those. That's right. He
but
wants to. Mhm.
I kind of do see why she might act that way towards Boston Rob, because he does have that perception that he's gonna do whatever he needs to do. I mean, look what he did in All Stars, right? He promised Alex and Kathy the world, and then very next episode he betrayed them. I have no problem with this. I know a lot of people do not like All Stars because of how Bad Blood came out, and from what I understand, Lex still does not talk to Rob for that particular move. But at the end of the day, it's a game. People need to do what they need to do to win the game, right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
I think he will be willing at one point, if he needed, he will throw someone under the bus. Um, yeah. So at this point, we go into chaos again. We're not being able to talk about who's going to go home, and this is where I'm starting to see a fault in Bob as one of the traitors.
Yes.
He pinpoints someone he wants to go, and he doesn't want to hear anything about it for anybody else.
Yeah.
And
Eventually,
mhm,
that's gonna do him in.
it is.
Yeah. This is not good.
Um, I once again I did not agree with the choice that they made in this particular one. Who was Boston Rob saying they should put up? I forgot who it was.
I forgot.
I think
Yeah.
Tom, right? I think he said Tom, because he was acting a fool and just mean mugging everybody, and I think that would have
Hmm.
been perfect, because now
Might
you
have been a
have
better choice.
now there's a clear divide between two people, and if one of those people go home, guess what? For
The other
that's
person looks suspicious.
yeah, exactly. Um, I think Tom would have been the perfect person to go send home in this particular one. Um, Once again, a
Let me
survivor
ask you a
player is.
question.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think he would have been perfect to go home? Like
It would have put
he's not.
Chriselle
I
in
don't
the.
see him winning.
No.
So,
It would have put
Because
Chriselle
Chriselle
under
would have been
the.
suspicious. Yeah.
I see.
Or the other way, if they would have sent Chriselle home, they would have
Yes.
put a
Then
suspicion on
Tom would
Tom.
look. Yeah. Either
I
one.
see what you're saying.
Because
Okay.
remember last season, whenever one of the traders they were coming onto the like maybe catching on to them, the person went home the next one, and that's when they started to catch up on who they were.
Well,
When
that's what's
someone comes after
happening.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, and like what?
That's what
Let's say,
Bob the drag queen is doing.
well, what if they would have gone after Dylan? Knowing that he was kind of
That would not be
onto
good.
them, yeah,
Hmm.
it would have made them very suspicious. So that it's a good thing
Dylan
that they
just
didn't go after
clamped
him.
down on Bob, so like it's not a good choice to get rid of Dylan.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Leave him around a little bit and then go after him, or
Hmm.
let him choose someone else and then go after him. Actually,
Exactly.
I hope Dylan just stay for a while though. Um,
Please. Yes, please.
um, I honestly didn't. I didn't dislike this lady, but I didn't really.
It
I
was a
didn't really.
throwaway vote. It was a
Yeah,
throwaway vote. She wasn't doing anything. She didn't know the game. She wasn't like
You could have
she
easily kept
wasn't
her.
affecting the game. Yeah,
Hmm.
she wasn't affecting the
She
game one
was
way or the other.
probably
Like,
an easy, an easy vote out. Production was probably happy. Like, yeah, nobody probably really cares if she leaves. You know what I
no, but
mean?
it
It's
was,
not Danielle Reyes. It's not Brittany. It's not one of the
yeah,
bigger known.
but like, it's a throwaway kill. It's a throwaway kill. Like, you could have killed anybody else, and it would have made more sense than
They could
killing Ion.
they could have probably
But
killed her
Bob
off
the
in about 4 or 5
drag queen
episodes, and it still would not have
Hmm.
made a difference.
was adamant
Yeah,
on it being another
Yeah,
housewife. He
yeah. That
would
and
I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
not
why.
saying.
stop.
Bob was, and Rob did see this and says, I need him to let go of the reins, and he did
Hmm.
stop the fight. Another once again, the Survivor player stops the fight and says, "Hold up, let's just talk about this. Do you want chaos or do you want be strategic?" Because Danielle was
Hmm.
being more, I want to be strategic, and Carolyn's like, you can't always. And Carolyn is right. You need to be strategic, but you can't always try to think so much ahead because then
Hmm.
you're gonna end up falling in your own trap. And I think that's
Right.
how. Because remember, she actually made it pretty far to the end. She made it to the end. She didn't win. She didn't get votes, but and I think she was off. She was on the wrong side of the votes most of those times.
Danielle Reyes, um, she should have won her season, but there was Big Brother was different then. They let them go home, watch the show,
Mm,
watch Danielle in DRs, then vote for who should win. And
Yeah.
they didn't vote
Um.
for her to win.
so far, I've liked the way Dion. What's her name? Danielle.
Dolores,
Not Danielle.
Danielle. Hmm.
Danielle,
So far I've liked her thinking,
yes.
but this next morning when after Ion is murdered, this is the point where she overplays her
Mhm.
acting.
She's slowly increasing her dramaticness, and I was just starting to think this is not good. People are gonna start
Mm-mm.
catching on, and
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 people did start catching
I'm
on.
watching I'm
Yes.
watching UK at the same time as well, and another trader over there is doing something is doing very similarly, and I'll let you guys find out what happened to that trader when you guys watch it. I'm just saying Daniel's days might be numbered.
If
She
she's the
doesn't
first one
shut
of the
up.
traders to go home, it's going to be the second time that a Big Brother trader goes home first.
But I
She
think
needs
Bob might
to
be
be
a
quiet.
little bit more on people's radars than Danielle. So she at least
Unfortunately.
has Bob as a meat shield, maybe.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And not just that, Danielle doesn't take it too personally, where Bob is taking it more personally in the game, and Danielle is, I think, taking because I mean, personally, she would have probably got rid of Brittany right away, and maybe that will make it obvious, and she eventually will get rid of Brittany if Brittany doesn't get rid of her. Um, but it'll put a target on her back because of what happened. But not everybody knows.
Yeah. So Ion gets killed, and we move on to our next mission, which is the fun house. Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
This frustrated me so bad.
This
Um,
was a mission from hell. Like, how did they do this bad?
well, the
How
thing
is
is,
it possible?
I think production messed up. They should have minimized the amount of hallways so at least one or two
Yeah.
can make it out. But by
Way
making
too
it
many
that
doors.
way, way too many, or eliminate one, making it 3 doors each.
Hmm.
One of those three would have made it easier so that so that at least one of them makes it out.
Yeah.
And the person that upset me the most was Bob H for 2 reasons.
Like they knew. They just but I mean, if you're colorblind, maybe it'll hinder your performance on this mission,
Which I
but
don't know if he is or not, but
We don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, but the first reason why he upset me was because he just randomly called out Tony, and maybe it wasn't random. Maybe it's because really was on his radar.
Hmm.
But not only that, when it came, he was the one that was set up to just go straight to the next one,
Yeah.
right? And he should have gone into the next one. It would have at least given one less door at the last for Wes to go through, and he might have been able to actually choose the right door. But instead, they only had one door open, and he had to choose from three.
Hmm.
I mean,
still they managed to get pretty far. They managed to get to the last door, the last set of doors. But I mean, it was the 1 out of 4 chance to win the mission and get the shield. It was just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
They try to
really
make it
bad at this.
it was a bad mission, and they not just a bad mission, but the players were bad at it as well. So
I don't think I would have done well at that. I'm deaf in one ear, and my ADHD. I'd have been lost. I would have, you know what I mean? I would have been like, what? And that would have been it. I just would have guessed.
It was a mission of do you feel lucky or not? Yeah, it was a big guessing game.
It was a guessing game. That was it.
So
before we go to the banishment, right after this challenge though, was there anything specific that would have? I know Bob gets into a scuffle with Dylan, right? But anything else that might have that is worthy to talk about?
That's about it.
I mean, other than Chriselle and Tom going at it again, I think
they'll always go at it as long as they're in the game. So,
but let me ask you a question: does he know her? I know.
From what I understood, he didn't know her. If she would have just stayed quiet, well, because
I don't understand why.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why did she say anything?
Exactly. Like, why do you care? Like,
she just wanted to like stick it to him or something.
From what I understood, the way that they made it sound is that she had to tell him that she knew his ex, and that she was friends with her, and that's when he started going after her when he found out that.
Like, who cares? It's like, all right, I know Ariana, you cheated on her. All right, I cheated on her 3 years ago. Who cares?
Now,
moving on,
because we get back to the chateau, and
I love that chateau.
we're back to the chateau. Dylan is talking about Bob. It's Tony, right? Or is it Jeremy that does it? Jeremy's the one that tells Bob about it, right? And right away, Bob goes and confronts. And Tony at that point was like, "What are you doing? Stay out of the drama." Which is true. He should have just stayed out of the drama. But this almost worked to his advantage this time around, knowing that Dylan and Bob were exchanging words. We go into the banishment though, and Tony is one of the people who gets thrown under the bus, but this time by Rob. I think someone else had kind of brought it up. It might have been
someone
Bob
else
H.
Did bring it up.
Mm-hmm. Bob H. I think was the one that brought it up, and I think Bob H. had kind of pointed to him since the very beginning that he might be a traitor. Boston Rob was really the one that did it. If it wasn't for Boston Rob, Bob may have very well gone home. Based on the editing, Bob.
Did he really convince like 12 other people to vote for Tony at the round table? Do you really think that?
I don't think he can. I don't know if he would convince them, but what he did was he helped take the radar off of Bob. Because remember, everyone was starting to pile on Bob, and it wasn't until Rob said,
I gave you the shield, and you're not even talking to me. And I'm like, I wonder why Boston Rob is doing this. There's definitely there's definitely a reason why Boston Rob decided I need Tony gone now.
He needs to protect his traitors. As long as there's more traitors on there, the better for him.
True as that. So, but I think that Boston Rob was definitely a part of Tony, because I was like, wow, he really just he sealed his fate. It was like he sealed the fate. Tony
Based
was
on what we
already
hear.
out there. Yeah, what
Yeah.
we hear. We don't know when Rob said that during the roundtable, because according to what I've read, when they pick the traitors, that whole segment is 40 minutes long.
Holy moly.
Yes.
Wow.
So, yes, I've read that. It's 40 minutes long. He touches everybody. So then we have a camera shot of everybody getting touched. But the whole segment, they're blindfolded for 40 minutes.
That's probably in case there's a leak. They can say like, no, look, he's not a. It's a fake.
Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
we
didn't know.
don't
I didn't
know
know that
when
one.
Rob said that in when that in the conversation happened. It could have happened before someone else threw Rob's name out. It's how they edit it.
Well, it's the same as a tribal council, right? I mean, those tribal councils are only about 6-7 minutes on TV, but they've said that they sometimes go on for hours.
Yes.
And we only see the 6-7 minutes of TV time. But I honestly do think it was Rob that caused him to go home, because he was really upset with Rob when he left. And I've never seen Tony look this distraught at losing anything, even when he got voted out second, or was it second in Game Changers?
Something
Was
like
it
that.
first? Yeah, he looked distraught. Like, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
It was difficult because I was like, this isn't. I think Tony really wanted to play something different.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, he called him a sellout.
That's a bit far, I think.
But that shook Rob. That shook him.
His face, Rob's face when Tony said that, it was just pure shock.
Yeah.
Pure shock.
Now,
like
are they friends?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they're friends, but they're acquainted with each other because of Survivor and Winners at War.
Yeah, I wonder how much they know each other in real life, like
but
outside the game.
I have a feeling that they've said it a lot of times that when you're part of the Survivor community, you're like tight with most of them. It wasn't until very, very recent that there's been some very known like divisions and breaks with certain players. The only one that I knew for sure that is no longer talking to Rob was Lex, and we know the reason behind that. But other than that, I doubt that they're not.
It was a tight community.
Yeah, I think it was kind of something that just happened
in the moment.
At the heat of the moment. Yeah, I don't really think he's really that upset with her. He didn't really say anything. Tony, let me see. I did look up something that what he might have said, but I did see that it did shake Boston Rob, and he even used it to his advantage when they left the game. I mean, left the round table, and he said, I don't know where that came from. He kind of used it at the attack on him. He kind of used it to kind of gain some sympathy.
Yeah.
This is what this is. He says, and Vulture.com. He did a I guess interview for Vulture.com. He reflected on his difficulty on translating his survivor skill to the Traitors, and admitted that his usual charm and strategic confidence may have painted a target on his back. He highlighted how the game's paranoia and emotional voting left little room for rational decision making, leading to his unfortunate exit. He did describe his roundtable experience as intense and unlike anything he's ever done, and said it tested the ability to maintain composure. Because remember, at this point, there you have 12 people saying you're doing the killing.
Yeah, I couldn't do Traitors. I'd be too overwhelmed with the accusations, especially when I'm not, right? Because I have this thing about lying or people lying about me. So it'd be very hard for me to have all those people coming at me, because then I would get defensive, right? And then I would
start throwing fist.
Maybe not fist, but words, daggers with my mouth, right?
And you throw the rice on the fire.
That's it. And throw the race in the ocean or
Or gonna
dump
or
it like what's his name?
Brandon.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh, that was
Well,
such good
remember the first
TV.
thing he wanted to do? He wanted to pee in the rice and not tell him. That would have made him a legend, I think, in meltdowns.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. They don't cast like that no more.
Well, I mean, then we got Andy, but
Hey,
so yeah, so
And
Tony is the second person to go home. Unfortunately for us Survivor fans, we wanted to see our our favorite players go far. Um,
yes, we do.
we still have three more. We don't know if maybe more people might come in later on. I doubt it now. I doubt that they added three more people. I think that this is it. I think this is no more
this
people
is
coming
it.
in.
This is it.
Um, so yeah. Um, so far, the first three episodes that we got, amazing. I think
Fire.
it's yeah. I think
Yeah, it's really
Trader
good.
season 3 is starting off very well.
Very strong.
Uh,
And I think production is realizing that they do better with uh people who are known in
mhm.
the reality fear world.
Well, that's
And
strategic
there's so
because
many that they can go on a real long time. There's just so many players. You know what I mean? Like Brittany and
Yeah.
Danielle Reyes, those are like OG players. You're talking Danielle was season 3,
hmm
right? That was a long time ago that
Yeah.
she was a runner up in Big Brother. And she's still, all these years later, a well known name. So I'd like to see old school Big Brother and Survivor players in Traitors, like people we haven't heard of, like Mark, like Nokomis. I know that's nobody will ever get, but man, would
No.
she be?
Yeah.
She'd be a
Um.
gift.
you know who I would like to see on here. I doubt we ever see him though. I don't think we'll ever see him in anything else again. Chris from Vanuatu, because that guy can BS his way out of almost anything. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, he survived 9 women on his season. Um,
True.
so I think he would have done well here in the
Yeah.
show. But I think he's been really quiet, so I don't think he would ever come back. But either way, great set of episodes. Unfortunately, now it's going to be single episodes, right? It's not going to be bunches of episodes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait now. Um, the the format kind of I don't like having to wait till the next episode to see who was murdered, but it is what it is, and that's how we're gonna have to deal with it. At least we get a banishment every
Oh
season,
well.
every episode.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, any final words for the first 3 episodes?
Just super
Had a good time.
happy. I love it. Oh, it's just good. It's a really good show. Alan Cummings is brilliant. He is just magnificent as a host. It is
Yeah.
a treat to watch him host these shows. Like he's so good.
He is way over the top,
Yes.
but it's in a good way because but
Yes.
I can see some people feeling like is a little too much. But
Maybe
like
if
I
you're a
said,
challenge fan.
for us, it's a good thing.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. And
Who
I
doesn't
just
mimic
adore
him
him.
just randomly now?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I think I already said
All
what I
right.
was going to say already.
Let's.
How about Kim? Final
I
words.
know I said I no, I'm saying I love Alan Cumming. This is
Oh, okay. That was
just yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. Like I'm loving this season. I don't think I know what I want to say real quick. You barely notice that Britney Spears' ex-husband is on the show. Like you might have seen him collectively in 3 episodes, all of 10 minutes, if that.
there was
And I'm
another.
stretching it with
There was
time.
another actor model last season too that I couldn't even remember his name, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like they kept saying he's an actor, but I have no idea who he is. This is if it was not for being Britney's ex-husband, he would anybody know who he is?
No, and I'm sure he seems like a really nice, quiet guy, and that's probably why he's getting no camera time
He did
because
say,
he's
he did take the high road when they asked him about her, and I'm pretty sure there's an NDA as well, which
yes,
I mean I'm pretty sure, but still he did say I'd rather not comment. He didn't say I can't talk about that. He said no comment.
yeah, and it
So
was in a respectful way,
yeah, yeah.
you know. And then like she was like, "I'll get him." Like, yeah, he's never talking about her ever. Like, get out of here. And he probably
Um,
doesn't have anything really interesting to say. He's
well, like I said, there's
young.
probably an NDA.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it there. We want to thank you for joining us here on the Spyshack Podcast to discuss 3 episodes that together made a great premiere of the season 3 of the USA version of the Traitors. Keep in mind that we will be coming back for season 48 of Survivor after a great one of the greatest seasons in recent memory of Survivor. We're going
Yes.
to come back for season 48. Hopefully, we continue the trend. We are going to finish the finale episode of the challenge. We're going to be a week late on that. My co-hosts are sick, so we weren't unable to finish recording that one this week. But we'll go ahead and talk about the challenge finale next week. Keep in mind though, the way challenge works is it's back to back. So there's going to be a challenge all stars coming at the end of this month. So we're going to keep going with the challenge, Spyshack challenge podcast, and just keeping subscribe and like and do whatever we need to do. We want to hear y'all. We want to know what y'all think about the shows that we are watching. Want to go ahead and thank you once again. And Mark, Kim, thank you for joining me. And here's to a great season of the Traitors.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I gotta go.
I have a
Bye.
question for you. So,
Yeah.